Hello, hockey humans. Hope you are all staying safe and healthy and the fuck home during this time. Welcome back to Puck Detective, the channel where we dive into some hockey stuff. Today we're going to take a look at Mark Stone, who he is, where he came from, and why he's the greatest to ever play in the NHL. I just want to remind everyone really quick that this channel only presents 100% verified facts. It's not opinion based. So you can absolutely disagree, but you would not be correct. Before we dive in, don't forget to gently tap that like button down below and subscribe and do the bell thing so that you're notified next time I upload, which is really often. First and foremost, Mark Stone is a 90s baby, a Taurus, a master of expressions, a hairstylist, and a Manitoba boy. Secondly, he is a hockey player. That's what we do on this channel. We talk about hockey. So I hope you knew that. Currently playing for the Vegas Golden Knights, Stone has had quite a hockey career journey. It began in his home province, had a brief stint in Ottawa, and eventually landed him in Sin City. Let's take a look at how he got there. Born May 13th, 1992, in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Mark was practically born with a hockey stick in his hand. He kicked off his career playing for the Winnipeg Thrashers in the AAA Manitoba League, where he competed in the 2008 TELUS Cup. In the fall of 2008, Stone began his junior career with the esteemed Brandon Wheat Kings, remaining in his home province. His rookie year was nothing spectacular, but good enough to tie for 12th in rookie scoring, getting 39 points over 56 games. Wheat Kings fans felt the excitement of Mark Stone, but the focus and spotlight was more centered around Braden Shen at the time, who is in his second year with the Wheat Kings, was leading the team in scoring, and was 7th in the league for points. In the playoffs that year, Stone was able to grab 4 points in 12 games, with the Wheat Kings having a good run, but eventually being eliminated in the conference finals by Calgary. The next season, Stone was ranked in the top 50 prospects for the upcoming 2010 NHL draft by many major scouting lists. It was looking like it was going to be a breakout year for the young winger, but unfortunately, Stone suffered one of the most dreaded injuries in the sport: a thumb injury, and also a concussion. The injuries during the season were seen in his stats, as he only played 39 games but managed to total 28 points. This drastically affected his draft rankings among scouts, having him fall out of the top 50 and almost completely off the radar. That year, the Wheat Kings were hosts of the Memorial Cup tournament, therefore were able to compete despite being eliminated in the WHL Conference Finals. The team had quite a tournament, making it to the final game where they were absolutely annihilated by Taylor Hall and the Windsor Spitfires, losing the final game 9-1. Through the Wheat Kings' 5 games in the tournament, Stone scored a total of 0 points. The 2010 NHL draft really was the story of 2 other men that were not Mark Stone. We're not going to focus on them. They've had their time. Stone had gone from being ranked in the top 50 by pro scouts to not expected to be drafted within the first 5 rounds. Thumb injuries are but the magic came in round 6 when Mark Stone was selected 178th overall by the Ottawa Senators. Stone attended the Senators training camp in the fall of 2010, but was sent back to junior to complete the season with the Wheat Kings. This season, not only was there room for Stone to step up into a leadership role with Braden Shen and Matt Calvert moving on from the team, there was an expectation for him to do so, with Stone being given the A on his jersey, alongside the newly named captain, Shane Weeb. And step up he did. Stone blasted through the season, finishing with 106 points in 71 games, putting him 3rd overall in league scoring, just ahead of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who is expected to go 1st overall at the upcoming NHL draft. Though the Wheat Kings only had a quick stint in the playoffs that year, being eliminated in the first round, Stone still managed to grab 10 points in 6 games. Returning to the Senators training camp in 2011, Stone signed a 3-year entry-level contract with the team before being sent back to play the season with the Wheat Kings. That year, Stone was promoted to captain, and that year, he shone even brighter. Early in the season, Stone was named the WHL Player of the Week after scoring 9 points in 3 games with a +3 rating. That February, he would own the title again, but this time tallying 13 points in 3 games with a plus-minus rating of +6. Stone was easily proving to be the player we knew he could be. In December 2011, the Canadian World Juniors roster was announced, and it was no surprise Stone had made the team. The tournament was held in Alberta that year, and the team was coming off back-to-back silver medal wins in 2011 and 2010. Stone kicked off the tournament with a hat trick in the first game, contributing to Canada's 8-1 win over Finland. While the team went 4-0 in the round robin, getting a bye to the semifinals, they ultimately lost in the semis to Russia, sending them to the bronze game where they would beat Finland by a whopping 4-0. Stone led Canada in scoring with 10 points in 6 games, which also earned him 4th overall in tournament scoring. Back with the Wheat Kings, he finished his WHL career 2nd in league points, an Eastern Conference first-team All-Star, and being named the league's most sportsmanlike player. On April 21st, 2012, in true King fashion, Mark Stone made his NHL debut in the playoffs. The Senators were playing the New York Rangers in Game 5 of the first round, and Stone assisted the game-winning goal and got 1 point in 1 game played. By this time, Stone was no longer under the radar, but still wasn't expected to make the NHL right off the bat. He had a phenomenal hockey sense, great passing, good offensive instincts, was well-spoken and humble, but he needed to work on his skating. I mean, your boy had gone from 5'11 to 6'3 in like 4 years. That brings some difficulty using your legs. Stone was aware of his weakness, and he reached out to the Senators shortly after being drafted to develop a plan with their team skating consultant. He would send in videos of him from the Wheat Kings. They would be analyzed and sent back to him with things to work on. Stone was not only willing, but determined, and fast forward to present day, it's clear he was a pretty good student because his skating has improved significantly, only adding to his all-around skill set. Stone spent most of the 2012-2013 season down with the Senators AHL team, only being pulled up for 4 regular season games and 1 playoff game. The 2013-2014 season saw a bit more back and forth between the NHL and AHL teams, and Stone was noticeably starting to get used to the higher compete level, but still only grabbed 4 points in 19 NHL games that season. In 2014, Stone had made the opening night lineup for the Senators, playing alongside Curtis Lazar and Mike Hoffman, later to be dubbed the Kid Line. Senators fans are very creative. By November, Stone's success landed him a permanent spot on the team, and the Senators announced that he would remain in the NHL lineup for the rest of the season. And what a decision that was. Stone went on to become one of the Senators' top-performing players that year, leading all NHL players in scoring after the All-Star break and ending the season with 64 points in 80 games, tying with Johnny Gaudreau for rookie scoring. That year, Stone was nominated for the Calder Memorial Trophy, although he didn't win. That summer, Stone signed a 3-year contract extension with the Senators, worth an average annual value of $3.5 million, and was dubbed one of the Senators' best players, if not the best. That title slide is so dramatic. The next 4 seasons would bring a series of injuries for Stone to work through, although his performance never really faltered. In 2016, he scored 61 points in 75 games and led the league in takeaways for the second straight season. He held on to that title for another year in the 2017 season, along with scoring 54 points in 71 games and had 8 points in 19 playoff games. In the 2017-2018 season, Stone was struggling a lot with injuries and only played 58 games, but he still managed to tally 62 points. As the 2018-2019 season rolled around, the Senators were not expected to have a great year. They had only made 2 playoff appearances in the past 5 seasons, one of which they were eliminated in the first round. This was a contract year for Stone, and as the trade deadline crept closer and closer, speculation began that Stone and the Senators were not likely to come to an agreement on an extension. Stone was having a great season, getting 62 points in 59 games played by the trade deadline. As it became more apparent that Stone would not likely be re signing with the Ottawa Senators, fans everywhere began to speculate where he would end up. Four particular teams were said to have a serious interest in acquiring Stone: the Predators, the Flames, the Jets, and the Bruins. But there were up to 8 teams involved in the discussions, and the competition was said to be very high. As the sun set on the night of the 2019 trade deadline, the hockey world went to sleep, anxious but excited for what would happen the next day. On February 25th, 2019, as the 3 p.m. cutoff was slowly approaching, Mark Stone was traded to the Las Vegas Golden Knights in the top trade of the day. The very next day, on February 26th, Stone played his first game as a Golden Knight. While he didn't pick up any points in his debut, he did get over 17 minutes of ice time and ended the game with a +1 rating. Stone finished his first couple of games pointless, not getting his first point as a Golden Knight until his third game against the Ducks, where he assisted a goal of William Karlsson's. On March 8th, 2019, Stone officially signed an 8-year, $76 million contract extension with Vegas. The next day, on March 9th, he scored his very first goal as a Golden Knight against the Vancouver Canucks to open the scoring of the game, which would eventually end as a 6-2 win for Vegas. He had started to heat up. Stone was not slowing down. He finished the 2019 regular season with 11 points in 18 games played as a Golden Knight. On April 14th, 2019, Stone scored his first ever career hat trick in the playoffs, leading Vegas to a 6-3 win over the Sharks in Game 3 of the playoffs and making him the first ever Golden Knights player to record a hat trick. While the Golden Knights would actually be eliminated that first round, Stone still managed to total 12 points, 6 goals, and 6 assists in 7 games played. Stone finished the year leading the league in takeaways and being nominated for the Selke Trophy. After being eliminated from the playoffs, Stone was asked to play for Team Canada at the 2019 World Championship being held in Slovakia, where he was named an alternate captain. The team ultimately lost to Finland in the final, winning the silver medal. Stone finished the tournament with 14 points in 10 games, good enough to tie for tournament scoring leader, and was also named the tournament MVP. The trade to Vegas really just made sense, and not just financially and logistically, etc. Vegas was a brand new team. They were only in their second season in the NHL. And while they did have a blowout first season, making it to the Stanley Cup Finals, they were ultimately still trying to find themselves, trying to build an identity. Mark Stone is the type of player you build a team around. He's not flashy, is somewhat of an underdog, but consistently pulls through. And that was exactly what Vegas needed. It was perfectly meant to be. Stone leads by example. He works hard. He remains humble. He's not the type of player who is just great at one thing, but he's versatile. He is what you need him to be. Vegas really got themselves a keeper who would go on to be the greatest player to ever play in the NHL. So that is the story of the rise of Mark Stone. Quick note, there will be no negative Stone comments allowed below, as there's just nothing negative to say. But genuinely, thank you all for coming to join me today. I appreciate all of you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell. Continue to hate the Minnesota Wild, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!